Hi, and welcome to a screencast of our next lesson. Here, our lesson today is bases other than E, day 2. Okay, here's what we need to know to be able to do this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually integrate a exponential function, a to the x. Okay. Now, we learned yesterday that the derivative of a to the x is the ln of a times a to the x. Okay. Now, to do the antiderivative, which means what you would do to get back to a to the x, that winds up being 1 over the ln of a times a to the x plus c. And if I did the derivative of this function here, guess what I would get? I would get back to a to the x. Okay. All right, so why don't you commit this to your notes here, okay? And let's try a few problems. Kind of like I think I showed this problem to you yesterday, okay? The derivative, or antiderivative of 5 to the x. This is a pretty simple one. That would be 1 over the natural log of 5 times the 5 to the x plus c. All right, now let's take a look at this next one. Okay, now for this one, we can see we got more to it, don't we? We have x times 3 to the x squared. Now in this one, you could probably anticipate this, I think, that we're going to have a u substitution in this one. Let's have u be x squared. du would wind up being 2x dx. To make it match up right with the problem, we're going to go half of du equals x dx. So we got a little substitution going on here. So when I substitute things correctly here, that would be 1/2. The x d to the x will be substituted with this half du right here. All right, so that would wind up being 3 to the u du. So that's going to be 1/2, and then 1 over the ln of 3 times 3 to the u plus c. And then finally, at the end, we'll go 1 over ln 3 times 3 to the x squared plus c. So there it is with a u substitution. Okay. And finally, let's try this with a problem like this with some limits on it. Let's try another u substitution. What do you think u is going to be? That's right, we're going to make it cosine of x. One, we'll do du dx. That winds up being negative sine of x. Okay, so du is going to be negative sine of x dx. Don't like that negative. I'm going to throw it over here on the other side. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and do some substitution. Okay. That negative is going to be out front. 2 to the u du. And don't forget, we got to change our limits of integration. Okay. So, if I put in pi over 2 right there, the cosine of pi over 2 is actually 0. And then I try 0, the cosine of 0 right here would actually be 1. Now take a look at that. Those limits are backwards, but that's going to take care of that negative out front. So I change that around to 2u du. And then we'll crank this out. The antiderivative of that is 1 over the natural log of 2 times 2 to the u from 1 to 0. So that would be 1 over the natural log of 2 times 2 to the 1 minus 2 to the 0. So that would wind up being, if I kind of do it this way, 1 over the natural log of 2, 2 minus 1, so that'd be 1. So our whole entire answer would be 1 over the natural log of 2. All right, so there's a couple examples. I want you to try this today. And then if you have any problems with the Math Excel, I'll have a few minutes in the beginning of class tomorrow to help you out on our next lesson. All right, so thanks for listening and have a great day.